welcome to Real Talk, episode 89. I'm Todd, this is AJ, and we're back.
Hey.
Also, I pointed at you when I said this is Todd. I don't know why, but we're not.
You did? I didn't see because I was trying to
did
laugh.
in between. So welcome to Real Talk. What's Real Talk?
Hey.
It's an opportunity to talk about life, God, the Bible, and everything in between. And we sort of, I don't know, I suppose, stand in for you in the questions of life. There's a link above, whether you're listening on the podcast or on Facebook. It is www.theremnant.live/real, REAL-talk.
Boom.
Click
there
the
it
link,
is.
go down to submit a question, hit submit a question. It'll pull up a form fillable box, tippity tap, that's you typing your question, thought, comment. It goes in completely anonymously. Couldn't find you if we tried.
We have.
See what I did there? Changed the inflection. And that's the gist of it. We're 89 episodes deep.
Boom.
We're in season 2, episode 89 of Real Talk. I think we sort of settled on keeping the numbers and the season.
Might as well.
Yeah, it'll still look cool when you see a season 2.
Oh, it is cool. Have you seen the thumbnail?
No, I haven't.
Super
I
cool.
don't look at stuff. But regardless, it's good to be here. We're back, getting used to the new set. If you're watching on video, actually even in podcasts, I'll probably be able to tell.
I think they'll tell the difference.
We are back to using our old mics, and we're still playing around with it. What do I mean by old mics? We're kind of going podcast style.
Yeah.
If anyone is a regular watcher, they'll know that we had quite a battle with lapels.
It's true.
Turns out lapel mics, not as adjustable as you would think.
No.
And in fact, we came up with $1 million idea for a new type of clip that doesn't exist because we've looked everywhere. A vertical clip that adjusts.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's interesting. In fact, I still think we should create it.
Probably should.
But that's it. That's what Real Talk is. And we're just two guys from a local church that love you, love Jesus. God golly, we love America.
Good golly, God bless America.
So, speaking of America,
Yeah.
we're in the midst of quite a time here.
We are.
Had our election literally a week ago.
That's right.
Exactly. You and I voted.
Oh, I did. First time voting.
Yeah. And it tells you how important it must have been.
Absolutely.
Of course, also you've grown as far as what, your view of those types of things.
my values and my beliefs, absolutely, man. A lot has changed.
I'll tell you, man, interesting times. Interesting times.
Yes.
I think what's always most interesting to me is, and I've said this before, okay, and I need to be careful because they say, in what is it, in good company, you don't talk about certain things.
Okay, yeah.
Religion, politics, I think there's something else.
Oh, yeah.
We talk about both here.
Yes, we do.
Without even talking about, who, regardless of who you voted for, I'm always unsure of why someone would be unwilling or not want to allow any sort of look into claims of fraud or those kinds of things, right? Because
Absolutely.
to me, if it's not true, so what?
Listen,
you know what I mean?
At the end of the day, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with checking,
Yeah, and I think that for me, and I've ended up getting into quite a few debates unintentionally.
I saw
on the old social media, which is a struggle. Just because I put out a comment saying, "Hey, I think this is a nonpartisan issue.
Mm-hmm.
We need to protect the integrity of our process." I would be saying this regardless of who won or lost.
Yeah, which side?
Because here's the thing, people. You need to understand. I keep hearing the argument that even if it's true, it's not going to change the outcome of the election. That's irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's a few. We need to. If there are people cheating the system, they need to be found out and they need to be prosecuted. Now think with me. Certainly, if it affected the election, we would want that because we would want that change, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But more so than that, we need to make people understand there are consequences for tampering with or messing with an election. Otherwise, if we don't, people are going to think they can continue to get away with this.
Yes.
And like I said, it's going to hurt both sides eventually.
Absolutely. I think I said this last night when we were talking about it. If you can get away with tampering with the most important and the biggest job in America, what can't you do?
You're right. You're 100% right. And I just think that's odd.
Absolutely.
I think take out media, all those things. I think it's odd that we've come to a place in America that, I don't know, sometimes it goes back to honor and truth and integrity, and it's just like those are not important because we've been so polarized. Like we've been put, you're either, whichever side you're on, you're either good or bad.
Right.
Good or bad.
It's weird.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of the gospel. You know, the gospel tells us at the end of the day, we're all bad without Jesus. And once we're given a new heart, you know, we are changed. And by new, you know, he changed us from the inside out.
Yep.
You know, the idea that we are all inherently good in our hearts, man, is being shown right now. That is certainly not the case. You know, I think of the scripture that says, where do your fights come from? Where do they start? Don't they come from the envy and the hate in your heart?
Mm.
You know, and I think things like elections, they're sort of like a big scale traffic jam, right? So a traffic jam, or somebody cuts you off in traffic, a lot of times shows the darkness of our heart. Flip people off, tell them they're scum.
That's a really good.
Right?
That's a good way to look at it.
But so if that happens on a small scale, here on the bigger scale, you know, it's going to show even more. It's like it's like a traffic jam for America, where everyone's hearts are showing.
Man, that's really good. I like that a lot.
Thanks, man.
Traffic jam for America. I like that a lot.
So, yeah, interesting times, guys. I would encourage you. We're allowed to have opinions here.
Absolutely.
You know, first of all, pray for our country. You know, and when we trust God, you know, I've been told that a lot. You know, me, I'm human. I do trust God, but I also want. That doesn't mean that we don't fight injustice and stand up for the oppressed and all those kinds of things. And you know, this is one of those opportunities, guys, where we need to be patient. And if we truly trust the process of America and the heart of America, then we need to be willing to look into things and trust the results we get. The only way we can trust the results we get is if we know that the process is free of tampering, fraud, injustice.
Absolutely.
That's my thoughts.
100% agree with you, man. 100%. You know, I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, I like to think of the idea of, and I think you kind of went into this, is, you know, it doesn't matter which side it is. You know, if Trump was winning and, you know, the Democrats, you know, the Democratic Party had a reason to believe that there's tampering, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't mind if, because like you said, it's bigger than the parties. Like you said, it's a nonpartisan issue. It's way bigger than that. You know, it's about honor. You know, having a fair election. I mean, nothing wrong with checking, man.
I don't see the issue. I don't know why everyone's paranoid and frightened. Not everyone. A lot of people. And again, I'll say it so I'm blue in the face to those that are into that. This is a nonpartisan issue for me, meaning what you just said. Regardless of who was winning, if it's the same thing we're coming out, same thing we're coming out with, the same allegations, I would still be in this place I'm at, which is it's worth looking into.
Absolutely.
And if there's nothing there, then there's nothing there. It doesn't matter to me if it changes the results, even if I hope it does, right? Even if I were to hope it does. If it doesn't matter to me. Whatever scale it is, it needs to be found. It needs to be cleaned, and the people that did it need to be prosecuted, and they need to be taught. So it's a message to the rest of, you know, the people in this country that aren't, that are cheaters, that, hey, we're going to catch you. So just my thoughts on it.
Yep. 100% agree with you.
Anyway, it was a good segue.
Yeah, dude. I thought it was good. You know, like it's biggest thing right now, obviously. You know?
And we don't want to hide from that, right?
No.
A lot of, man, it's just interesting. This idea of, and I'm not just saying it because you said it was good, this idea of traffic jam is really big to me because even my, family,
Sermon.
Yeah. Even, that's not bad. Family and friends, man, it'll put family against friends and friends against friends and family against family. And I certainly know I have family that do not agree with me.
Yeah.
That somehow that looking into an election means we're demanding the results change. I only demand it changes if it's unjust. And I would say it the same way the other way around. People just, I don't know, it's just odd to me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I always get fascinated about what gets us as humans most fired up.
It is odd. I think a lot of it, you know, not to, you know, go super deep into it, but I think a lot of the time it's all about what's in. You'll be fired up about what's big, what's in right now.
Who tells us
it's
what's
a fad?
Big? Who creates fads?
Big Brother.
Oh man, it's weird. You know, media. We all know. I think if anything, this election has shown us the power of media for good and for evil.
Yeah, absolutely it has.
And I'm still mind blown that people want to deny the fact that media has bias, right, in general. That's wild to me.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't mean you're saying every single person in media is evil.
No.
But to sit here and to say that they don't have an agenda is unbelievably ridiculous.
Yes.
Let me give you
It's-
one. Oh, sorry. Go
It's
ahead.
like any other big corporation. There's someone that is up there that you don't know who they are. Probably they're making decisions. They want what they want out. It's their business, and they can do what they want with it, which is I mean, that's America, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I'm
should it be
fine with
fair?
that,
Yeah,
as long as we understand that.
exactly. But if we're gonna take everything at face value, no, it's not fair. But people also have to be open to that idea.
It's wild. The whole thing is it's just wild to me. You said something, now I can't remember that. I was like, oh, I want to bring that up. So here's I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I looked at this, and this is interesting to me, and I'm sure we're gonna get some flack for this. So here's a specific example, because a lot of times, a lot of you out there probably aren't looking too much into this. So you're being told by the media there's no proof of any sort of tampering. There's no proof of any sort of illegal activity. You're being told that that isn't happening. That is ridiculous, okay? Here's an example. Here's one that I find interesting that's not even necessarily smoking gun proof, but I think helps us understand. So I believe it was in Michigan. Don't quote me on that. Michigan, Wisconsin. The amount of votes that were found. Okay, they found I can't remember the numbers, so don't jump me. But you can look this up. A statistician purely looks at the numbers. Looked at the statistical probability that all of these votes, every single one, would be for one candidate. In this case, Biden.
Yeah.
He said that after a study, you can find the study online. I'm sure someone's going to try to argue with it, but it's math. It's funny when they think math matters and when it doesn't, by the way. They being people that have agenda. It says that it would be like you, AJ, flipping a coin 100 times in a row, and it lands on heads every time. Come on. That you're telling me that's not worth a look? Is it possible?
Sure.
Sure, it's possible. Very improbable.
Yeah, that's an improbable probability.
Yeah. Nice. And I think even if it were to, like I said, if someone gave me that stat and it was going the other way, if it was Trump, right? And they're saying I would go, that's weird. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's just odd. It's odd. How, I don't know. The whole thing's just such an interesting case for me.
Dude, this has just been a crazy year. It's been a very interesting year. 2020 is just, I feel like, in the history book of America, 2020 is going to stick out for sure.
Did we ever do the conspiracy theory episode?
I don't think so.
Man. Oh, yeah, we did on Roundtable, which we never released.
That's true.
We have a hour and a half, what is that called when it's the first episode? Some pilot,
yeah.
Of Roundtable.
Is it an hour and a half?
It's pretty long.
It might be 2.5.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we're talking Joe Rogan.
It's long.
And we went pretty deep in that.
Yeah.
Though it's a little dated now, though it's interesting that some of them are still applicable.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be interesting to go back and listen now that we're here.
That's true. Because we did that, a couple months ago? Maybe longer?
Yeah. Were we still in quarantine at the time? I don't remember.
I don't know if we were in quarantine or not.
Just come out?
We were just coming out.
Yeah. But the reason I said that is you said 2020, and it makes you think, you call it what you want. Sometimes it's odd how things line up. I'm not saying that we believe. That's another thing. If you ask questions, isn't it funny that we're kind of told what we're allowed to ask questions about? Because, hear me out. Because if we ask questions about certain things, you're called a conspiracy theorist or an idiot or a lunatic or all those kinds of things. But other things, if you don't ask questions, you're not a critical thinker.
Sure. Well, think about what America was founded on. We questioned the ideals of what Britain was doing.
Yeah.
And we pulled away because we wanted to. What?
We still love you, UK.
Yeah, absolutely. Not saying.
That's so funny.
Yeah. No, just think about that though. If they weren't willing to, step out of the box and at least look at, what it was, wouldn't be here probably. It's just weird to think about. To me, it's similar. So,
yeah, interesting.
We love you, UK.
From a, oh, you know what I just forgot, guys. I know this is, as you know, Real Talk. I still remember, Real Talk is not planned.
No,
and it always reminds. I mean, it's planned to a degree. We do know certain things. We don't just show up.
right.
But I like the one review we got, which was beautiful review.
Oh,
but
so
in it, they're
awesome.
like, clearly you can tell they don't edit this much.
No,
and don't.
it is. Yep.
And we try to keep that. We do that intentionally.
Yeah, man.
So why did I bring that up? Because we're about to change again.
Mhm.
I forgot about these bags.
I was just thinking they were on my mind this whole time. I was like, I don't know when we're gonna try to do this, but
So I believe these are from
Timmy
T.
That's right.
So Tim is another leader here at the church.
Yeah.
He's actually our pastor of, is it creative arts?
I believe that's what it's called.
It's a fancy term. What that means is he helps us use different media and artistic things to get the good news out there.
Amen.
Ding. So he told us we found these bags in our studio with a cryptic message in our organizational communication thread called Slack.
All right.
It said something like, surprise for Real Talk to be done on air.
Yep.
And I had this weird thought. What if it was like a live snake and we're like, da-da-da. It's not going to be.
Lights turn off.
So,
TV, his face comes on the screen.
I told you.
You said faith comes if you don't get bit by a rattlesnake.
That'll be a good one. We should probably talk about that. Oh, I do want. Remind me, I want to talk about the heresy stuff.
Yeah.
At some point.
Okay. All right.
You just open at the same time?
Sure.
So we have literally, preface this, if you're on podcast, we've got these little bags. That's the sound of it. And you can see it if you're on YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah.
We have no idea what it, literally, truly no idea what's
No
in
idea.
these. We also hope that they weren't, I don't know, that they were put on the right side.
I think they were.
Okay, so let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ooh.
I can't open
no.
mine. Mine, he set me up. He wrapped mine entirely. I was trying to pull it up, and it was like, see you, Tim. You
He's
guys.
such a fair guy because I already know what he did here.
Oh my goodness.
What is this?
It's Macho Man.
Yeah!
He got me a
some
Macho
pop
Man
heroes.
Funko Pop. Oh my gosh, that is Tim. Thank you.
Now,
That is
Tim,
so sick.
Tim was the one who also, if you got, what are these called?
Just Funko Pops.
Yeah. Tim already got you
The
the
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, the
because
SpongeBob's in behind me.
This is so great. So I have 2 in mind, which shows you how he's like, everything's even. Well, I love you both. Because he already got you the one. I have
Yep.
2. So we each have 2.
Okay.
So your first one was SpongeBob. And my first one was Superman. Okay? Which I love.
Oh yeah.
All right, so that's first. Let's see what my second one is.
Okay.
Your second one was Macho Man
Randy Savage.
My second one was Michael Scott from The Office. Yeah. Yes. So,
Dude.
that's incredible.
Oh man.
So if you guys don't know, well, I guess we should tell them. You like SpongeBob, I suppose.
I do. I love SpongeBob.
And then
And
I
I'm
don't know if people know about your love for wrestling.
I love wrestling.
I don't know if people know about your love for wrestling. I love wrestling.
I do. I've been a fan since I was like 2 years old. Fell in love with it and just haven't stopped watching since. And actually, shout out to Ernie. If you guys look, there's a picture back here. It's a Jimmy Hart photo
Yeah, I got
that's
one too.
signed. Yeah, I don't know where yours is.
Weird.
Makes me sad.
Yeah. Anyway, Jimmy Hart. Go
Yeah,
on.
signed to me. Super cool that he got that for
He's a
me.
cool guy.
Oh, absolutely. And then, yeah, Macho Man. Actually, Macho Man was one of my favorites growing up. So this fits perfect.
He really knows you.
Yeah, man.
He
It's pretty
probably
cool.
heard you say that one random time
and just knew.
put it.
Macho Man.
So for me, love comic books.
Yep.
You can tell back here, grew up on comic books much like, by the way, people on this, I actually grew up on wrestling too, which we didn't know when we met each other. Because I got out of it while you were still in for a while.
Oh, I
And now
love-
you
yeah, I
kind of
love
pulled
it.
me back into at least looking at what's happening. But Superman,
Yep.
big comic guy. I love Superman. A lot of people love Batman. I love Batman too. I was more of a Marvel guy growing up, but clearly we collect. I mean, we're big time collectors. My dad got me into that, and I love Superman, and that's Superman clearly. And then of course
pretty
the
awesome.
greatest television show of all time, and possibly the greatest television character is Michael Scott. So I'm incredibly thankful for this. This is gonna go right here with my Superman
Nice.
in front of my lightsaber,
I gotta figure out where to put this guy.
and this one, my Michael Scott here for now.
Let's put it right here. Macho Man.
There we go. Thank you so much, Tim. We love you, man.
Love you, dude.
Did
For
I
real.
tell you what I got Tim for his birthday that has not? We have not. I've not physically. It's not in my hands
I
yet.
don't
but
think you told me.
I'll show you later. He's gonna love it.
Oh man.
Hint, hint.
I know he's also got something else in store for you too.
What? Why? What's the reason?
It's just a gift.
No one just gives gifts for no reason.
I think it's for your birthday.
Gotcha. That's what it is for his birthday.
Did he give you birthday gifts already or no?
I don't remember.
I think
He got me that awesome map him and his family did for
Okay.
a month.
I think this may just be like an extra gift that he was trying to decide how to give.
Gotcha. And I wonder if that's the one he was talking about that I would love or something.
Oh, it's hilarious.
So that's pretty cool. Thank you so much, Tim. So
Yeah,
now we
thanks,
have more
dude.
things to put, that really show who we are.
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. It's weird to have like a show where you just literally have a shelf to display what you want.
I like how the shelf, beyond the hot sauces, which we both enjoyed, but the shelves are beginning to show our personality as they should.
Absolutely. I got my Todd cup back here.
I didn't even notice that until just now. That you... It's unbelievable.
He was like, we were setting this up, and Tim goes, "Shouldn't that be on Todd's side?" I was like, "No, absolutely not."
Yeah. Did those are from a wedding, weren't they? Those cups.
If they were, I have
people
no
already
idea.
know watching because we just go off the rails.
I know.
Anyway, that was awesome, man. For real.
Yeah.
I need to get him one. You know what I thought it was at first? I thought he paid to have us made into pop.
Dude,
I don't even know
that
if you can do
literally,
that.
people
ridiculous.
do custom Funko Pops.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know if you can
I
order
love
them,
these
but
way, way more than that.
Oh,
So I'm very
absolutely.
thankful. 'Cause what am I going to do with one of us?
it'd be funny. I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, yeah. I don't know whether to. I mean, I always have things to talk about. I don't know if I want to give you an opportunity if you have anything before we go. I haven't even dove into our week set. You know what?
Yeah.
Let me just segue. How's your week? What's going on in your mind?
So, I actually kind of thought about this before, which is something I usually don't do. I usually just try to think right here and right now. But I've been doing a lot of reflecting the past couple days. And one thing that came to my mind was the power of prayer. Was one thing. There's been so many instances in my life where I just completely, I totally forget how insane God is when you just pray and you let it be, and He answers, because He does answer, and you usually forget that because it's usually not on the time frame you want it to be in.
That's true.
So I was just kind of reflecting back and like, wow, like how cool is it? And like, He saved me from so many things, and also blessed me with so many things, all through prayer. We take for granted prayer big time. We forget that it's a direct, what's the word I'm looking for?
Line connection.
Thank you. Direct line to God. I mean, you get to talk to your Father, and that's, I don't know, man, it's surreal. Even me being a serious Christian for a couple years now, and being a Christian for a total of like 4, I still forget how real prayer is, So that was the first thing that that's been on my mind, was just the power of it. It's so surreal. Still forget about it, but it's so convicting every time I pray and then something happens. And sometimes you get that immediate too. It just happens sometimes. You're like, oh, it's almost freaky. So that was one thing. The other one, which was, I just been in reflection mode a lot, which is really cool because I often don't really get to do that. My mind just doesn't go there a lot. Was just who I used to be. I look back in my life and I can see who I used to be, and when I can do that, it makes me, I'm more graceful with who I am now, which is so cool. Like, I know, obviously, I still don't have a high view of myself. I still struggle with that. More often than not, I say I suck than I think I'm awesome. But I can look at that, and I know there's improvement there, and that's from God. Like, I know that He's helped me with how I look at myself, and it's just proven with how I live. I'm a completely different person, and I had a date night with my girlfriend yesterday, Hannah, and, that was one of the things we talked about. I was like, man, like, I just used to be so different, and just kind of running through everything I used to do. And I was like, wow, like, it's crazy that none of that happens anymore. The drinking, smoking, just being this zombie who didn't care about life, just looking for gratification in places I shouldn't have been, especially in girls at that time, just playing with a lot of hearts, and it wasn't good, man, and it's crazy that God just kind of plucked me out of all of it over time. With that, and it's funny because you almost like, I can see why it's so good to stay in prayer and to stay in the Word, because it's so easy to think like, I did that, and like, no, man, like, God did that, like, He helped you do that. You know, because like, for example, I can look back and go, oh, man, I stopped smoking. That's pretty cool. But, like, you can't tell me. You know how many people struggle with stopping to smoking? Like, you stop it smoking.
Hey,
So many people struggle to stop smoking cold turkey. They just can't do it. It's really hard for them.
Absolutely.
That's what I did. I just stopped. I literally remember the day I had my last cigarette. I said, I'm done. And that was it. Haven't really had any issues with it. You know, having an occasional, like, oh, that'd be nice. But, like, that's it. You know, not any super cravings. I didn't have to go through any, like, withdrawals with nicotine. Like, you can't tell me that wasn't God. Like, I can convince myself, oh, I just did it. But, like, no, like, God was there. Like, he was with me. Like, he knew what was better for me, and he helped me. You know, so just thinking about that kind of stuff. And, like, it's encouraging, you know. Being a sentimental person, it can suck sometimes because, like, it can make you a little sad because of, you know, what things were like in that time. But the flip side is how cool it is that I get to see how blessed I've been this entire time and where I am now.
Because of where you were,
Absolutely,
where you are,
and it's so cool, man. So that's what's been on my mind, and you know, that's created for me a really good week. I feel like I've been very productive, which is something that I can struggle with sometimes, productivity. So
I feel like you've been like that for like a week now, though, as far as being more productive.
thanks, man. It means a lot.
These new ones. There we go.
There's a little knob if you look on the.
Oh,
on
you
the-
know I don't knob things.
Yeah, if it needs to tighten, you can. But yeah, man. So yeah, I've been a lot more productive, and that's helped me too. Because you know, as men, we do want a purpose, and if we just settle for doing nothing, like it eats at us more than we can let off.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, it causes anxiety. It makes you question your masculinity, all that. It does everything. So it feels nice to be able to be more productive, and I don't know. I've just been able to give myself a little more grace lately too, like trying to remember, man, you do good stuff, and I am seen, and it's just trying to be more positive, I guess. And it's been a good week with that, and I'm hoping that can continue. So
yeah, I think that's pretty cool, man, and a good lesson for me and everyone is, the key to viewing yourself differently is remembering, kind of seeing yourself through God's eyes, and that's really what you're doing when you're seeing where you were versus where you are, because that's how He sees
I've
it.
seen him through.
That's how
he's
He sees
seen
it.
Yep, as Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before I continue and respond to you, I'm going to get yelled at by you and other people if you don't fix your hair, that part that's coming down.
Oh, is it doing it?
Yeah, because last time I've been yelled at because I let you and didn't tell people, but I don't notice it.
Thank you.
There you go. You're back.
All right. Cool.
Yeah,
We'll see if it stays. If not, just let it go. It's fine.
No, I'm not letting it go.
All right.
Nope, not after the last few
Did
times.
somebody else say something? to you?
Yes. Not
Really?
like you looked bad, more of like, why didn't you tell him? I'm like, what?
Really?
Yeah. I told you, man. I'm the big mean monster.
Oh,
Somebody's...
goodness.
Anyway, yeah, man, I think that's really cool and encouraging, and honestly, sort of a reminder to me to not let the world, because the world's just so fickle, and you're part of it. Your flesh is kind of part of that world, right? The way you view yourself, and if we don't rest in who we are in Jesus, we're in for a wild ride of up and downs.
Yep.
Ups and downs. So it's cool. And you have been more productive, man, from the outside. You've been getting stuff done.
I appreciate that.
I know you and Fun Turn, we got this studio cleaned up. Looks way better. We still got some stuff, a ways to go, but it looks way better than it did.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
How's your week been?
It's been okay. I'm in this weird place. I mentioned it last week. I struggle to speak highly of myself too. It's weird, both of us do. And I'm trying to learn through conversations with you and other people too about, I'm still wrestling with this. And I talked about it last week, when I don't speak, I guess I just never think about telling people what I do. So I naturally love to encourage and bring up. So for instance, I try to bring up what you guys do, what you, Tim and everyone does as far as it for the church, because it's so incredible.
You're a good encourager.
And I notice it, and I want to bring it up. Well, I don't do that to myself because I don't think about it. Well, it's just this weird thing where apparently, because I've told you guys that, and I don't ever talk about what I do, people think I don't do anything, which shouldn't matter, because people that are in the know.
Yeah.
But it's just been such an odd thing. I'm like, am I doing a disservice to even myself, the church, you guys that are listening to Real Talk, if I never talk about, quote, the things I do? But that seems so weird that I'd have to almost qualify what I do by putting a list together and being like, I do awesome stuff. It just seems weird.
I get it.
And part of the reason I try to encourage, and this is something I've done intentionally, and I'll wrap back around, so thank you for noticing that, is the world doesn't point out good things very often. We always want to point out the negative, and I think I've said this on Real Talk before.
You have.
I remember the time when I said, this was years ago, like, if I'm willing to say something to someone in a traffic jam,
Mm-hmm.
using that terminology, or say something when someone upsets me, why won't I tell them the good things I think? Why won't I point out the positive? And so
That's true, man.
that's what I'm kind of committed to doing, and I'm glad that it's noticed sometimes. But I know that it's rare to do that. People just don't compliment people very often.
You're right. I remember this. Yeah, actually, this is you and Austin. You and Austin had an episode. I think I was.
Where I talked about that.
Yeah, I think I was in Arizona,
Oh yeah.
and you guys talked about that.
So it's sort
really
of a
good.
weird thing how on the surface, I'm not complaining at people who think that, because they're just humans. I mean, we're all human. So it's just funny that our mind goes there, because I don't necessarily think that. When I hear you talk good about other people, I don't go, oh, he doesn't do anything, because he's pointing out how other people do things.
Sure.
So, for instance, because I don't say, I gave props, I heard this about the studio. This came up. Hey, great job in the studio. People think or like this new design. I had nothing to do with any of this.
Right.
Like, I just show up and talk. But I didn't have a vision for it. I didn't have a thoughts. One of the things I'm proud of as a leader is that I think good leaders are smart enough to let people who are better than them at things do it.
You empower people.
Do what they do well.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes, but apparently that can be just viewed differently.
It's weird.
So I don't mean to keep beating the dead horse. I keep saying that a lot. If I'm going to be real about things I process, I'm learning.
Yeah.
And this week's been better. Because I think I can go too far. I just want to make sure. Sorry to cut you off, but
No, you're good.
I think you can go too far. It's not always bragging to say what you do, and I think I'm learning that, because I can't stand arrogance. You know that, so I always want to err on the side of not being arrogant, which means sometimes I probably tear myself down. Maybe I don't need to elevate myself, but I certainly don't need to constantly tear myself down, because people end up believing it.
Well, it's a hard place to be too, because on the spectrum here, it's either, like you said, people do those things out of arrogance, or they do it out of insecurity.
Oh, that's good.
And it's hard to find.
That's really good.
Because people are either just trying to make themselves, people will do it in an arrogant way to make you feel stupid, or they're so insecure and they actually don't view themselves well at all. So they try to earn
themselves.
They try to earn earn their spot in your eyes of how you view them.
That's good.
So I get it. It's a weird place to be in.
Those, right? Because I just
Exactly.
think that way. As far as especially the second one, I don't.
There's got to be a way to do that.
I think that's where we count on each other in the world, and I don't know. Like I said, for me, I think what I'm learning is maybe the key is just not tearing myself down in the midst of it. Because sometimes I probably do think in order to elevate other people, I need to tear myself down. Maybe that's some sort of weird lie I have in my head. I don't know. Anyway, that's the one thing. It's not been bad though. God's been working with me, and I think I also rob. This is see, I struggle to say this. I think when I do that, I've almost intentionally torn myself down, and I have robbed the body or robbed people of my giftings.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid that I'll look arrogant, so I don't enter into things that I think I am qualified or have the ability to enter into, situations or conversations that I have things to add. So in realizing that, I've sort of been more free the last week to just do that, to enter into things and be confident in that. So the other thing is this. So we started a new series here at our church, The Remnant, called Heresy.
Yes.
And we almost changed it last minute, and because I realized what it sounds like. So in Christianity, religion in general, heresy is a very serious charge in general. Real heresy, as far as the definition are things that, are, I don't know, blasphemous to the faith to even believe or think. And so we sort of defined, and there's nothing wrong with, certainly sometimes our names are chosen to draw people in. Like, part of the reason I picked that name is I want people to watch it. I want people to, even if they come in angry, hopefully they listen to the whole thing and get something out of it.
Yeah.
So we sort of defined that as far as, for our purposes, as messages or teachings, not teachers. There's a difference. Teachings that, if we're not careful, can completely, can change the gospel.
Yes.
So this week we did. It's called 1 + 1 = 3. Go check it out.
The equation.
You can check that out on our Facebook page, our website, or the Remnant Church podcast channel, because we have one of those now.
That's right.
So with that, it's just been this interesting. Like you asked me last night, you said, "Hey man, they're being flack yet?" Because we're just this expectation that other Christians are going to get really offended.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of kind of going back to the first thing I said is the realization that, truth is truth. And it's not about tearing teachers down or churches down. And it's funny that we try to think that, but instead it's talking about scripture, about things that inherently can damage the message of the gospel if we're not careful. So with that does come a little level of anxiety because, and we've prayed about it a lot, that people would see our hearts and hear it. But sometimes, man, I don't want to bring my bias in, but sometimes Christians, we can just be so ready to fight other Christians even more than the world.
Absolutely.
So we're just that's kind of a weird place I'm in as we head into the second week of it.
You rock the boat.
Plus, yeah, exactly, and we've got to be okay with that, I guess. And it's funny too because clearly a series is meant to be consumed together, like all of them. And if you listen to just one, then you can get the wrong idea of what we're saying too.
Right.
But some positives that I've had people reach out to me and say, thank you, this helped change my thinking or give me things to think about. And one of the things we always talk about here is, and sometimes I think people forget that, even real talk, we always say we're not perfect.
Oh,
we hope, go test it against the Bible, the Word of God. And as Christians, by the way, that's a primary issue. You have to believe that the Bible settles it, right? That is the final authority. Same with these messages, Our biggest goal, my biggest goal, is to get you to go and study the scriptures yourself and see how things we say and have accepted in our faith sometimes very subtly can change the message of the gospel. And that's where things get dangerous, and that's where you, me, this church, something we're passionate about is never changing the gospel to make it more palatable, which means easy to swallow. Whether that can go either way. Believe it or not, legalism, religion can make it less palatable. I mean, more palatable because we have control over something we don't have control over. Quotation marks over control. But it can also, that's one I think people don't think about a lot. They don't view legalism. Legalism, guys, to define that in case you're watching, is just the religion of focusing on the do's and don'ts to the detriment of Jesus and Holy Spirit and learning. And certainly those things matter, but it's when we make the man-made rules more important than the truth of the Bible.
The law.
Which we do, right? Yeah, the law. We do. We do that all the time. And for some reason that we'll deal with that in Christianity more than we'll deal with the other side, which the other side is, hey, do whatever you want, and there is no sin, and blah, 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 blah. And I think people are so afraid of that one. Isn't that interesting? That one, every Christian is like ready to jump on. Not every, but a lot. But the other one, as far as legalism stuff, is like that's just being holy, And I don't know. I think go check that out before you make a judgment, I guess.
Yes.
The point, it doesn't. If you make your holiness dependent on your own actions, right? Then you're in trouble because when you stand before God, instead of saying Jesus has me, you say I have me.
That's right. You're on your own merit.
Yes, and where scriptures say, your righteous acts are like a filthy rag in comparison. So I guess just wrestling around with that a little bit. And to be honest, a little, not anxiety, but like, I don't want to deal. But then at the end of the day, the people that do that probably aren't listening to the whole thing. Yeah. And our biggest thing, like I said, always is to push people to the Bible.
Absolutely, man. Yes. I highly recommend you guys watch it, listen to it. This heresy series is going to be super cool.
Pray for it, please. Honestly, for protection and that people would see our heart in that. We're not trying to set ourselves up as some final authority. We're trying to point people to the final authority, which is the Bible.
And give the whole series a chance. Like you said, some things are going to they're going to make more sense in the long run.
That's good. Because
he said it's a series. So, you can't just base all of it on, you watch one. So, if you're going to listen, try to listen to all of them. So
it's good. So and that kind of fits in with the first thing, right? Where I'm just like constantly on this journey of God saying, I got you, be who I've called you to be, both overall as a Christian, but also Todd, right? Because Todd is different than AJ. Even though they both have the same mission, their gifts to the body are different.
You're right.
And it's okay to be an arm. Not everybody has to be a foot. Not everybody has to be a mouth. Not everybody has to be the eyes. Because without that, we'd have if we only had one body part, it'd be monstrosity. This Frankenstein looking.
It's interesting. I like the fact that they call it body because I think people view different parts of the body as higher, and that's the
Paul
issue.
talks about that. Actually, literally talks about that.
Because you think of like, oh, well, I'm the brain. Well, someone's like, oh, I want to be the brain. The brain's important. But like you said, you forget about the pinky toe, or you forget about, you can't walk without a freaking pinky toe. It's crazy. Just stuff like that.
That's good, man. Paul actually makes that point kind of with, this is going to sound, with our private areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stay with me. He goes, we in comparison, they're shameful, right, to our face and eyes, but which one do we cover and protect, and in a weird way is more special in the fact we cover it, right?
It's
and he's trying to make that comparison of one isn't necessarily better than the other. So I like that you brought that up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
The Bible's cool, man.
It really is.
If you don't know, even that, when I said it, people are like, oh, it's in there. Paul says it. So, that's where I'm at. I'm very, very thankful for my friends, for my family, my friends that are family, for you guys, for our church, for our community, for Christendom as a whole, for the opportunity that we have as believers in the midst of all this crazy 2020 to just be a light and all those kinds of things.
Yeah, man.
Still have a lot of projects are up in the air that,
you're right.
Man, trying to get this field finished. We're trying to do a softball field / athletic field, and we weren't going to do it, and then because we didn't think it made sense, and then God just kept sort of pushing us into it. Now we're doing it. I'm having a hard time not going, oh, the humanists, like, we shouldn't have done it. We shouldn't have done it.
Right.
Because it didn't go as smoothly as I wanted it to, maybe. So that's all. That's part of where I'm at too.
It's been a surreal journey to be a part of, and just to, just even be looking into it. Like for me, it's been a crazy process, and I don't know, man. God is good. God is faithful, and
amen.
I don't know. Sometimes when you think things don't make sense, it's probably when you're trying to follow. That's when you're following. So
what are you doing? Dropping wisdom nuggets today?
Maybe, I don't know.
Give me
I did
sauce.
pray. I was like, God, please let me speak today. Okay, so I think He's helping.
Heck yeah, man. I guess we'll dive into our questions. We have a few today.
I just love this vibe, man. I don't know why, but I guess for me, these mics have just made a big difference. For somehow
they make me more comfortable.
Me too. I was about to say that. I think I'm just more comfortable.
So, first question for us. Well, first thing that's on here is we got a question saying, who can do a better impression of a monkey, AJ or Todd? Fun turn as judge, ... and go. And we sort of laughed about this because we were immediately like, yeah, okay, we'll do that. And then we started going, what kind of world is it that if this thing tells us to act like a monkey, we don't even consider how ridiculous it is. We just go, yeah, we clearly got to act like monkeys. So it's funny that we get a question like this, and then we got the comment a few weeks ago that's like, hey, real talk's cool, but sometimes it seems like a game show. And then the next couple weeks later, we're like, hey, act like a monkey. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't fun enough. So we'll get back to that. I put my money on me, though, for the monkey.
Dude, you're great at animal noises.
Thank you. That's a compliment I need. Thank you.
What? You've always said you were imaginative as a kid.
Oh, I was, absolutely. I was, with my siblings, I was pretty much, most of our games, a younger brother and a younger sister, and they'll tell you this, is me playing all the various characters they met, which just helped me a lot with like voices and monkey sounds, and so I would be the animals.
Yeah.
I used to want to wrestle. I'm a boy, but my sister and brother, particularly my younger sister, she wouldn't want to wrestle. So what I would do is, and this is classic Todd, I would be like, listen, we'll play pet shop, because I would be all their pets.
Yeah.
And they get to go pick it out, and there'd be wild like panthers in the pet shop.
Oh, nice.
I can tell you that the pet shop had a name. Do you want to know what it is?
Yes.
To this day, it still exists in my mind. It was called Johnny B's Store. It was ran by a guy named Johnny B. It had a jingle. You want to hear the jingle?
Yes.
This is true. If she was listening, my sister told me. She could probably sing it. Come on down to Johnny B's Store. We got it all for you. Yeah.
Yes. Johnny B.
That's a true story,
dude,
man.
Oh my gosh.
I almost want my sister. She never watches these, but if she did, I guarantee you she knows the jingle.
That is so cool.
Because Johnny B, I always had these reoccurring characters.
Yep.
For years of our childhood. So Johnny B's Store. Point is, you guys want to go shopping at Johnny B's Store for a pet? And by the way, Johnny B's Store did not have it all for you. He only had animals. Animals, because I don't know why I said that. But I would be like, hey, you can go, but you need money to buy the animals. Luckily for you, there's a wrestling contest that pays money. to the winner. So they'd have to sign up for this wrestling convention contest, and then I would get to wrestle. They would get. That's a true story.
That would have been that. Oh my gosh, that is so freaking cool, dude.
So it'd be like a wrestling tournament. You know,
Yeah.
if they placed first, they'd win like $1,000, then go buy an animal with it.
Oh my gosh, dude, that
Capitalism.
is so.
6, 7, 8, 19-year-old. No, I'm just thought Todd knew capitalism even then.
So many kids grew up like, yeah, I play house, and you're like I would make you sign up for this wrestling competition.
That's true, man.
That's so cool, dude.
Anyway,
I love that.
That was a big aside. Back to a serious question. This came in via the link, completely anonymous, www.theremnant.life/real, REAL -talk. So that's www.theremnant.life/real-talk.
Completely
YouTube.
anonymous for
Ask
you to
questions.
ask, and on you only.
Will you close the church if Indiana goes on shutdown again?
I am not the man who makes this decision, but I will say, and you can confirm this, or at least give your thoughts, but I believe we're leaning more towards no.
This is where politically correct Todd wants to come in and be like, be smart here. No, I do not anticipate we will do that.
Yeah.
And here's the reason why, before I get jumped by the PC police.
PC.
The way I view that is, and again, I don't make that decision entirely myself.
Right.
However, that will be my vote. And the reason is, people have the choice whether they want to go to something or not.
Yep.
And if people don't feel comfortable going, we don't make them come, then they can stay home. Or if they feel comfortable wearing masks, they can do that. Because we've now set up, we have it set that we've kept our live stream going that we did during quarantine.
It's just a thing now.
Yeah, so they still have that option, and we'll leave it up to the people. But I actually believe it's very, very important for people to have their community with the body.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to get in a position in our faith where we take as normal looking at a screen and saying that's going to church.
Absolutely.
So that I don't even know if I should have said that. Again, not my decision completely. And who knows, maybe I would get vetoed or not. I can't get vetoed, but I would get voted, whatever.
Sure.
But that would be what I would say. I highly doubt that would happen. Does that mean it wouldn't if things... No, I'm not saying that. And we've tried to be respectful all along of the government's recommendations of making people feel comfortable, of loving people, showing love for our community, while at the same time, promoting kingdom values and not letting that line get blurred between church and state to a degree. Right?
Absolutely, man.
Because that's what they want to say. Because to us, there is no line. We are in the kingdom, and the kingdom has authority over everything else.
Amen.
And we will certainly follow the laws of the land. That's biblical as well. We know that. Until they infringe on the kingdom laws, as it were, using kingdom values. How about that?
Yeah.
So I don't anticipate that, and that's our reason. We'll see.
Yeah. That's
Hopefully
good.
it doesn't come to that.
I hope not. Hopefully we're just going to keep working forward and not take any steps back in this crazy process.
Hey, I heard that we got a vaccine. President Trump told us we'd have it, and we do.
Pretty cool.
90% effective.
It's like, what is it, Pfizer?
Pfizer. They're a big-time company.
I remember seeing them on Robinhood.
Yeah. So
hey, Robinhood, best news around. Ask Funturn.
So ridiculous. Speaking of, I'm getting killed in the market right now because I put a lot of money on that vaccine. These small companies, the vaccine, including one of the ones that was, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you want a small thrill, making investments and having a fun time, Robinhood. I'm serious.
Or a sad time.
Or a sad time.
Like I have
but hey,
now.
If you don't want to go crazy in it, just put $10 in and have some fun with it. I'm serious. It's a good time. Use my code.
Yeah. Funturn's been talking about his one free stock for 6 months. Anyway, he checks up on that thing constantly.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think the church with a capital C should close when a state mandates that? What are your thoughts on that? Genuinely, we're curious. Drop a comment below. I want to do a giveaway today.
Oh, a giveaway.
Yeah, man. So it doesn't have to be big. Funturn's looking at us. We have some little merch, for lack of a better word, that we're willing to send out. So drop your comment below to these questions and answers, and we're going to enter you in. If you have a comment man, you know what? I'm trying to think of how we can do that for the podcast people. drop a comment in response to one of these questions using the link www.theremnant.live/real-talk. Or if you're on Facebook or YouTube, drop it in the comments.
Yep.
Any name or any person that asks a question or answers a question in our comments, whether on YouTube, Facebook, and or using the link www.theremnant.live/real-talk, we'll enter your name into a drawing.
Yep.
And we'll pull a name out and we'll send you a gift because we love you and we want to encourage you guys. Thank you, but we want to hear what you have to say.
I love it.
So
let's do it.
Very importantly, though, if you're doing it via the link, so you're listening on the podcast, we got podcasts for how many countries now?
7.
7 different countries. How many different states?
19 or 20.
That's pretty awesome. So if you're one of those, we would need you to also put in there, your first name. You don't have to put your last name and your email address so we can get your contact info to send that out to you.
Yes.
So,
and hey, while you're at it, just let us know where you're listening from. I'm just curious.
Yeah, thanks, and leave a review. So we might do that too sometime. A review one, I like that.
That's a good idea.
Next week, but in regards to this, when we ask a question, we'll see who's actually listening. Drop it in, and we will pull a winner. Let's say, what do you think? By
next week.
By next week, before next week's episode.
Yeah.
Cool.
Could always announce it on this upcoming episode.
Yeah, we will. I assume we will. Yeah, what do you guys think? Should churches close if the states mandate them? If so, where's the line? If not, what are your thoughts on that? Next question. Do you think women get less respect than men do when in leadership positions? Is it different in church than in the secular world? I, personally, see women get more respect in the world in the workplace and less in the church. Do you agree? Why do you think that is? If so.
So values, so you're looking at 2 entirely different worlds here. You got, values in the church and then values in the world, which are going to be entirely different. I think that when it comes to respect in either camp,
Sure,
in the world or in the church, it shows by what is put out. Either way. Now, I do believe that men are called to be leaders in the church, absolutely. But if it seems like women are getting more respect, say, in the world, for example, they've probably earned that.
I get what you're saying.
Yes. Same with in the church. Now, like I said, it's kind of different because there's different things at play here. Men are called to be leaders of a church, to be the pillars, hold it up, But, and they said that they feel like that's more prevalent. Like they see more men that are being more respected. I think it just depends on how you look at it.
I think they're the way they put it more is that women are less respected. Not even necessarily. So I guess men get more respect. So we look at it, but I think they just view it as women get less.
And I think that if you're comparing it to the world, it may look that way.
That's good. Yeah.
Women are equal to us. They're just different. That's the truth. And we just have different roles. That's it. Comparing world to the church, in the church, it's just different roles. They have the same value, I know a lot of people get upset, because they say, we talk about, in the Bible, it talks about how women shouldn't be, teachers leading a congregation of people. It doesn't mean they can't teach, and that's just, I don't know, man. That's just how it is, I guess, I think there's probably more evidence. I just don't have it in my head right now, or more proof, or whatever you guys want from that. But as far as, or even even if you want to flip that around, we met a lady. We've been trying to work on this documentary for a long time, and we went and did some interviews. And we actually interviewed a woman who is a pastor, and we actually asked her that question because we wanted to see what her thoughts were, and she actually said she understood that what she was doing wasn't necessarily right, but she said, who else is going to do it? And that, to me, was very convicting for men in the church, because wherever we don't fulfill our call, somebody will. And if it has to be a woman, so be it. And, in those situations, it's not ideal, but, I guess it was kind of sobering in a way. I was like, wow, that was convicting. And she even knew, she knew that it wasn't right. But she knew that no one else is here to do it. And so, if you flip the situation even inside the church where you feel like women are getting more respect, a lot of the time this is just me, I feel like it's coming from what's being put out. what people are seeing. If you're seeing women do a lot more serving naturally,
You're kind of arguing the other way, though. So you don't think they get more respect in? You don't think men get more respect in the church than in the world? You don't think that men get more respect than women in the church?
I think they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I was just asking for myself.
Yeah.
I think you made a lot of valid points.
Mm-hmm.
I think you sort of touched on this. I think it depends on what your definition of respect.
That's true. That's good.
So certainly, if you mean in the world that CEOs can be women, and in the church, women are not to be elders.
Mm-hmm.
Using like a word, the quote CEOs of the church or the leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, you're going to think that they have more respect in the secular world.
Makes sense.
Sometimes I wonder, I don't even know. I wonder if women are, because culture has changed so much, that to even say there's a difference between men and women, or to say that men have value in certain roles overall as a gender, means that the women aren't getting as much respect. So it's like, if we say that men are good leaders, and we don't say that women are, even though that's not the point. The point is just saying men are good leaders, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that as an example. Then that's saying women aren't, and that's not giving them the respect they're due. So yeah, I think it depends on your definition, and I think you touched on this. I sometimes I wonder what this if this person was sitting with me, I would have a lot of questions to ask.
Yeah.
I do think sometimes men, particularly with good Christian women who want to follow the Bible, they manipulate the scriptures. So one of the things that really bothers me is when I hear a woman say she has to submit to any man in the church. That's not biblical. That's wrong. You are called to submit to your husband and submit using air quotes here, follow your leaders in general. Like, so if a pastor or whatever. And so in that regard, maybe. But you are not slaves to the men in the church. And some men manipulate scripture to try to make women inferior to them. Yep. And that's not the case. I always love the example of, and you touched on this, men and women are different. And the world doesn't want you to believe that. Both of them have values and traits that are so beautiful that show God. And the way I like to look at it, and I've read this before, is in different examples. But here's an example: is a canteen more valuable than a teacup? No, you can't say one is more valuable as far as its usage. Yeah, it depends on the situation. If you're out in a mountain camping, a teacup is ridiculous to have out there. But if you're at a business lunch or a wedding, reception, typically a canteen is going to look ridiculous at the table. And so men and women are different. Their value is no different, but their roles are. And somehow in our secular world, we have tried to say that the only way for things to be of equal value is to be the same. I think that's silly, right? Mm-hmm. That's no different than saying, which is more valuable, a wolf or a Labrador? It depends on the situation.
Yeah, the need.
What's more valuable, a Clydesdale horse or a quarter horse? Mm-hmm. Well, if you're in a race, you don't want to be riding a Clydesdale. But if you're pulling a plow, you don't want a quarter horse. Yep. It depends. Role has nothing to do with value. And until we understand that,
dude, that's so good. I like that.
We're going to have these issues. Don't let the secular world make you think that if your role is not the same, then they're saying you're not as valuable. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where they try to attack the church.
Goes back to the body.
Yeah, exactly. The body, exactly. Yep. Good point. So I think, overall, we won't hide from that. The Bible does say, and I wanted to clarify a little, that a woman is not to have authority over men in the sense of an elder role. And I've actually wrestled with this quite a bit as far as the term pastor in our modern usage, whether women can be pastors, etc. Mm-hmm. I certainly think women can teach. in general. It has less to do with teaching men and more to do with the authority. And I think God knew that, and I think it's also because it strengthens the role in marriages, right? Where the man is supposed to be the head of the family.
Yep.
If you have situations, so picture in the church, if God had not done that, this is just a possibility. If God had not set that in the church, it's supposed to be this way. Don't you think? So then a woman is leading the church. Okay, she is the head, she's the elder, or she's whatever. And then all of a sudden she goes home and she's supposed to, quote, submit to her husband. I would make it much more difficult for her because she's his leader at church, right? Leader.
That would be tough. You're right.
Yeah, and the problem is partly we're using a bunch of words interchangeably. She's in authority over
It would get very blurry.
So for me, it's never an issue of value. Maybe I'm weird. Maybe that's because I didn't grow up in church. I don't know. I don't know why people try to change what the Bible says. It does not say that. Doesn't even, by the way, here's where it gets really kooky. It also has nothing to do with capability. So there are women out there that might make incredible elders of a church, would make incredible head pastors. And they're, by the way, they're out there. People do that.
Yeah.
As far as skill set, just like there are women who are maybe better leaders than their husbands. It's not an issue of giftedness. It's an issue of God-ordained roles. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So we've got to quit putting value on roles.
Well, I really like that because, like it puts value. It puts value in the Bible. If you believe that this is real and the Bible is real, then you got to follow what it says. Like sometimes I feel like people are looking for these really in-depth answers to these kind of questions.
Like God needs an excuse for what he says.
Yes, and that's just not real. Like it's not reality. Like if he said that man's supposed to be head of household, man's supposed to be head of the household.
Yeah, and I think where we get confused is because people have abused it throughout history.
Yeah,
right. Where there was times where women were not valued. Which, by the way, Jesus came and flipped around.
Yes,
right? Jesus, when back in the day, we said this many times. Jesus' call to love your wife as Christ loves the church would have been radically controversial back in those days because women were pretty much property. Yep. So to tell a man, whoa, I'm telling you, you are to love the way your Christ loved the church, which is what? Self-sacrificial, putting their needs above yours. They would have said, I don't understand that. Well, nowadays, the call to submit to a husband back then would not have been radical.
No, they would be like, okay.
The call today, it's flipped.
Yep.
Either way, it's still radical because that's what Jesus is.
That's
the
right.
call is still countercultural. So, don't let the world infect your mind. As far as whether or not in the secular world, I think short answer, when we mentioned this earlier, is it depends on your definition of respect.
It's good.
I don't know. What do you think, Fun Turn? Do you think that answer? He's not listening, but
yeah, I hope that made sense.
He's over there reading something completely unrelated. It's kind of like production guy Blake, who's a part of our show but doesn't ever listen to our show. Right? Or fun guy Austin, who was a part of this show for a year and a half, and we found out never watches it. Right? Here's a little Easter egg for those guys. We know you don't. You fibbers. Our favorite thing is when we ask people in our church who are like big supporters, and they are, and we're like, hey, what'd you think of that episode? And they're like, good. And they're like, oh, what's your favorite part? And then it comes out like, the first thing they always say is like, oh, yeah, I just didn't finish it yet. And I was like, oh, how much did you watch? 10 minutes. This actually happened. This is a hilarious story. So
half.
Exactly, half. Someone in our church recently, you know who you are. I don't want to call her out. She said, and this person does listen to all of them.
Yeah,
this just happened to be one week that I picked on her. She pulled up, she's like, yeah, listen to it. And I happened to see her podcast thing, and it had only, it'll show how far you're in the show it is. And it was only like 12 minutes in. And I'm like, oh, it was hilarious. Anyway, we love you guys so much. We're just teasing you. Except
Absolutely.
production guy Blake and former fun guy Austin.
Yeah.
You guys just, you don't love us at all.
We'll see if they see this. Or
do you think Fun Turn would watch the show if he wasn't a part of it?
I don't know.
Do you think we would?
I think I would.
I think I would too. I like to think. Fun Turn, would you? Would
I
you
would
watch the
definitely
show
listen.
if you be honest? You would listen to the podcast.
I was gonna say.
At least he's honest. Do you think you would listen every week? Like for the most part. Like you listen to your favorite podcast.
I don't watch things. Actually, I'm weird. I don't watch things on a week to thing. I would
Pick and choose.
To a certain point, catch up, and then I'd let you guys get ahead, and I'd do the same.
I actually
Kinda
kind of
binge
get
it.
that. I do that a little bit.
Yeah.
that's something I have in common.
That makes
Some of my
sense.
favorite podcasts, I don't like getting to the end of it because you want more.
That makes sense.
That's fair at least. But production guy Blake, oh boy. But you know what? When we go back to live,
Yeah,
he'll be there behind the scenes.
it's true.
I'm just messing with him. What?
Yelling at us for no free advertising.
Yeah, yelling at us.
I've given so many.
Yeah, me too. Although I'm getting better at it. But just kidding, production guy. We told him we'd be dropping little Easter eggs in to see if he actually ever listens to the show.
It's true. Here's another one.
Production guy Blake, if you actually heard this, drop a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Former fun guy Austin, I know for a fact he won't.
Hey, if you made it this far in the episode, anybody else, you should tag them in the comments and just put a laughing emoji.
Yeah, don't say anything else.
Just put a laughing
you're friends
emoji
with
and see what they're like. What does this mean? And see if they actually go watch.
Yeah. Anyway, we love both those guys.
Absolutely,
They've given so
man.
much to us and to
Oh,
the show.
dude, wouldn't have been possible without them.
I started to do the monkey. Anyway, you have any other thoughts? Close up.
I don't think so, man. I thought today was awesome. I've had a really fun time.
Different vibe with
I
these.
know, man. I love it. Let us know what. Let us know what you guys think. You know, I know we've asked you to do a lot of things, but yeah, if you guys think, hey, you know, mics, do they sound better? Do they look weird? Just let us know. I'm always looking to get better, or you know, just always looking for feedback. Thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. It means the world to me, and I know it means the world to him too. You know, without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So appreciate you guys listening and watching, and I love you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your help out there today.
Oh, Ireland Day.
Here.
I did Ireland.
Who's this guy that came in? It's Brian O'Malley. A real Brian O'Malley's going to get on here. Yeah, guys, I don't know why I did that. I just want to tell you guys, I echo what he said. Thank you so much. Hey, like I said, if you answer any of the questions or have your own thoughts, drop them in. You get entered into our drawing. We're going to send some free stuff out. We might choose a couple people. We probably will. And just, we love you guys. We've got a new influx of stuff to give away.
Yeah.
That I found that I didn't know we had gotten yet. So I'm pretty excited. We want to send you guys some things to let you know we appreciate you. Also, like, share, comment, guys. The more we get, the more people we reach. Even if you're listening on the podcast, you know, you can always take that link, copy the link to the podcast, and post it on your social media, whether it's Twitter, Parler. I know we've got people that are sharing their stuff on Parler now.
Oh, that's cool.
Parler and Facebook, all those things. And what'll happen is, and just put a little blurb of what you liked about it, and people will consume it, the content, much more readily when they know there's something specific you liked about it.
That's right.
That helps us out a lot, and that's an easy way to support us. Another way is if you want to support financially, guys, it's completely tax deductible. We need your help. Please consider giving anything, 5, 10, 15, 20, 100, you know, anything, whatever amount it is, it will go straight into it and appreciate it so much. You can do that straight into the show. You can do that anytime at www.theremnant.life/give. Put your information in, do the drop-down box, click it and go down to Real Talk.
Yep.
And it goes directly into that. You'll get your donation letter at the end of the year and stuff too, so you can claim that on old Uncle Sam's taxes.
That's right.
I think that's about it. Guys, also, big shout out to Timmy T. Thank you so much,
Yes.
brother, for these that just so adequately and perfectly describe our personalities.
Yes, you're right. They do.
I think that's about it. Big shout out to Fun Turn. Thanks so much, brother, for all
Yeah,
your
dude,
help.
for real.
We appreciate
Thank you,
it.
man.
We love you, man. I know we joke with them a lot, but we love them a lot. Love you too, man.
Hey, I love you.
Good episode. I think that's about it. Am I forgetting anything?
One more quick thing. Hey, do you guys notice thing on the screen? You know, is it distracting at all?
Is it to your liking?
Yeah. Do you like it? Was it distracting? Did you guys focus on that more than you focused on the conversation? Just let us know if you remembered, because we asked you a lot.
It, and this is Droopy Dog, and I enjoyed it.
Hello.
Hi, and I liked it too, Brian O'Malley.
Is this a real person?
No. Fun Turn
Okay.
immediately said we should cut that. All right, hey guys, we love you. We hope you have a great day. Check this out. Share, like, comment, all those things. Like our page if you haven't done that. You can find it by typing in the Remnant Church of Whitley County. If you're listening from some other various state, you can go to Facebook and hit like. We put stuff up every day. Other than that, we love you guys so much. We hope you have a great day, and truly, God bless you.